class. Today we're going to create this animated GIF together with you. To do that, different than the previous assignment, we're going to use only one layer on Adobe Animate. This is how it's going to look like at the end. We're going to use one single layer, but we're going to use multiple keyframes for this assignment. And the purpose of this practice is learning how to insert keyframe, how to insert blank keyframe, and how to edit them. Let's play from the beginning to the end and see how it looks on the timeline. This might give you an idea of what we're going to do with these keyframes. But let's start. First, we're going to start a new project, of course, and of course, ActionScript 3.0 you will pick. And here's our blank stage. The first thing I'm going to do is changing the stage color. The stage color is white by default. I'm going to make it black. If you don't see the properties of the stage, just click on the selection tool and click on anywhere on the stage. The properties panel will bring up to the stage properties. So the first thing is just adding something to the stage into the keyframe. So if the keyframes are where you can add objects into the stage. You cannot add objects into the stage, or you can't change anything on these just regular dummy frames. You have to have a keyframe to do any kind of changes. So I have one blank keyframe right here. And so if you see that there is one one circle right here, there's no fill for that circle. That means this keyframe is empty. There's no object in this frame on this layer at this time. So we will use paintbrush tool. So that, if you remember from the previous classes, you can go to brush library and add some artistic brushes or any kind of brush you want for your project. Just double clicking. By just double clicking paintbrush here, I'm going to use this one particularly. And here's in my list, I have a couple of them that I will use for this project. And the stroke size, of course, it's by default in the minimum, so you can make it bigger. And for the first keyframe, I will just put one small item here. And on the 10th frame, I will add another keyframe. How am I going to add another keyframe? Is just right click on this frame and insert keyframe. This time we're not inserting frame, we're inserting keyframe because we would like to change some stuff at this point. So when you add keyframe, it also does copies this keyframes, the last keyframe's content into each of these frames until this point. At this point, we also have the copy for the previous keyframe, but now I will just go ahead and edit. It is selected. If you just look closely, there are dots on these objects, so that means it's selected. I don't want it to be selected because I don't want to change it. I don't want to edit this one. I want to add stuff on it. So that's why I click on the selection tool and click anywhere else to get rid of that selection. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get my brush tool again, and you can use the same art brush or you can change it, but I will definitely use a different color. Here we go. And we are going to repeat this about 6 times. All right, I think this much color is enough as a cool background. Now I'm going to go ahead and add text into this stage. So right click, insert keyframe, And again, deselect everything by clicking anywhere else and add text into the stage. Imagine. I want to use a white color here. Okay, so for now we have this much. Okay, now we would like to come to this point and at these like 10 frame long, I want this text to be shown, and I want to give a different effect here, just giving this text a flashy look. To do that, every 3 frame, I'm going to change the text color. So here, I will just go ahead and copy. I'm going to insert this keyframe that will copy the whole thing in all these layers again, but it also will allow me to change some stuff in these points. So I want it to be like the same every 3 frame. Gain 1, 2, 3. So far we have, okay, I have these keyframes, and the first one is white. The second keyframe, I want to make it a darker color. Let's go check like a darker color. So it's going to be white, red, white, and this one can be another bright color, and this one will be dark, and this again, the next one will be bright, the next one will be dark, maybe very dark purple, and it's going to turn back to white. So let's see what we did. Play. Okay, so far so good. And the last effect I'm going to give is just the whole thing is going to be invisible and visible again. I want to move around my timeline right here. Okay, let's go to 10 again, about like 10 frame. I want it to be just as it is, and then every 2 frame or every 3 frame, I want it to disappear. So in that part, I will just go ahead and insert blank keyframe this time. That will just delete everything from the original keyframe and copies, just adds a blank stage over here. Until that point though, you still have the content for the last keyframe. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 full keyframe, 2 dummy frame, and then 1 empty keyframe. Or you can keep just copy and right here paste the next frame, paste. I'm going to go ahead and create a very cool effect right here. Paste. And then maybe the last one, I want it to be still visible on the last one. So I still want to have, in the last scene, I want to have this still visible. Let's see. This is a text, and here you go. It's like blinking. You can make this disappeared moment longer by adding more keyframes, but I like this blink. So this is all. So this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and export it, export, export animated GIF, if you remember. And this might be just big screen. It doesn't fit into your screen, but if you just go ahead and press enter, it's gonna allow you to just save it. Give it a name, imagine, and GIF, and save it. It's gonna save it to my document, so you have to pick wherever you're gonna save it to. Documents. One thing that you need to be very careful about when you're saving this animated GIF is File, when you go to File, Export, Animated GIF, right here, it has transparency option. If you don't uncheck the transparency option, it's going to save your animated GIF with transparent background. So you changed your stage color into black to get a black background, but if you just don't uncheck this one, it's going to save your picture this way, so like without any background. It's going to be transparent. So make sure that you have unchecked the transparency so that you still have the black background for your animated GIF.